Slide 4 is pretty straightforward. It is all about the setting. So for this slide, you are going to choose 2 settings from your book. It could be any 2 settings of your choosing. You are going to include information about your settings, such as the time, the place, and the environment, and then also add some pictures to represent those settings. So for Watson's Good Birmingham, I chose the place as Flint, Michigan. As you know, the whole first half of the story takes place in Flint, Michigan. And if you remember the very beginning of the story, the time was winter time. It was in 1963, and the environment there was freezing cold. They talked about it being a zillion degrees below zero. And then all other references about if you spit, your slob would be an ice cube before it hit the ground. I'm sure you remember some of those other references as well. And then my picture here is the scene where Byron Watson decided to kiss his reflection in the mirror and got his lips frozen. My other setting takes place in Birmingham, Alabama. This is the place that the Watsons travel. They do this during the summer of 1963. The environment there was much different from Flint. It was blazing hot. The boys were always complaining of being sweaty, and they had to sleep with those fans on them. And they just talked about how drowsy they became because of that heat. Also, in Birmingham, Alabama, some of the other types of things for the environment were the protests and the marches, and then, of course, the church bombing. And here is a picture to represent what was going on in the streets of Alabama. Your job is to pick 2 settings from your book and do a slide that represents the time, place, and environment for each, as well as a couple pictures.